Chuck Baker, I've got Adam Hood on the phone with me right now. We're getting ready for a big show at Midnight Rodeo tonight. I want everybody to come out. It is the Southern Brothers from Another Mother Tour with Adam Hood and Jason Eady. And Adam, good morning, man.
Good morning. How are you doing, man?
I am doing great, and we are really looking forward to this show. And you guys have had a chance to do this show for a while, once again, gearing up to coming to San Angelo.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we've been on the road doing this for a little while, and it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, now, let me ask you. I know that your current single, Trying to Write a Love Song, is doing extremely well. It just keeps moving up the charts, man.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I really appreciate it, Chuck. Yeah, it's going well, and we finally got the release date for the album. It's going to be out August 19th. And man, I couldn't be more excited. Things are going well, and life's good. I got no complaints so far.
This is like your fourth studio album, isn't it?
This is indeed my fourth studio album. The first record I put out like 15 years ago, and it was like a board tape of a show that I did. And then I've had like one or two EPs. But yeah, this is the fourth full-length studio album. So,
you mind if I ask who produced it with you and all that sort of thing?
Of course, Rachel Loy is the one that produced this record, and she's Brian Keene's wife, who is a good friend of mine, and she did William Clark Green's Rose Queen album and Brian's Coming Home album. So she's got some good records under her belt, and glad to be a third in that party. So,
well, you know what? You have written so many fantastic songs. I want you to tell a little story. Anybody who doesn't know this, somebody that kind of helped you in a huge way just by having she had a little problem with her car, I understand. Miranda Lambert dropped in on one of your shows.
Oh, yeah, that was at a Tavern on the Green in New Braunfels a couple of years ago, and I mean, basically, what her mother and what the two of them had said was, well, our car broke down, and so we stopped, spent the night in New Braunfels, and then went over for a beer. And I was playing Roots and Branches with Ray Wiley that night, and that was kind of I guess the rest is history. She took a couple of my CDs and introduced me to her producer, Frank Liddell, and I was under his publishing house for a number of years, and so it got me, their record label released the Shape of Things album, which was the last one to come out. And so, yeah, she was kind of the catalyst that sort of really helped me through a number of years in my career. So I really do owe her a lot.
Well, I know she was so impressed she had you play her birthday party, too. Let me ask you about something else.
Yeah.
You toured for like 3 years with Leon Russell.
I sure did, and I appreciate you bringing that up because, man, it's funny because, the years that I was with him, I had a lot of friends kind of come up to me and say, well, who is Leon Russell? And I thought to myself, boy, you got a lot of nerve asking me that. Especially, you're talking about a guy that played on Beatles albums and he played on Stones records and, just rock and roll royalty. And not only that, and it's funny that you mentioned his name because, the years that it was Leon and Willie, that was kind of what Jason and I sort of had envisioned for the Southern Brothers thing because, you go back and you watch all this footage of Leon and Willie and it's sort of, they all, like, it's everybody on stage together and everybody's playing each other's songs and then they all play a couple of little cover tunes, jambalaya and things like that. And it's kind of this little hodgepodge family thing. And that was, Leon Russell and Willie Nelson is where we got the idea for Southern Brothers, really, to take it on the road because that's what they did. And it looked like so much fun. And it is indeed fun. They were right. It was a good time.
Well, you came up and you worked with some of the best over the years, and you took some of those tips, as you said, and said, I'm gonna incorporate that into what I do too, and it's working extremely well for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm a product of my influence, and that's not a bad thing to be. So, as long as I keep staying inspired and keep finding music that I want to write, I can't complain.
Well, my gosh, not only music that you've written and recorded yourself, but you've had everybody from David Nail to Little Big Town to Brian Keene to numerous others that have picked up your song and said, we want to record that too.
Yeah, it's a real honor, especially when you think about it. You think about all but just between Texas and Nashville, the quantity of talented songwriters that are writing in a room 3 days a week, probably twice a day, that it's amazing that anybody even hears a good song with, just with the volume of good songs that are out there. And I'm just really fortunate to been a part of some really cool records. And, so it's a real honor. It really is. And I couldn't be happier.
Well, I tell you what, there are a lot of people that are very fortunate out there that have run across your path and had the opportunity to write with you and also record with you and record some of your music. Let me ask you one more thing while we're on the subject of writing music and so forth. I'll Sing About Mine. I love that song, man.
Thank you.
And some people think it's a shot, but what's the lowdown on that?
It really wasn't as blatant of a shot as we had intended on it to be. And, and I tell you this, the funny thing is that Springsteen line, that was, we had written that song 2 years before Eric Church came out with the Springsteen song. But, and so it was, I think it was just one of those things where, man, it's really hard to be honest without taking a shot at the establishment these days, because there's a lot of dishonesty in the establishment. But, I think we just really wanted to take an honest approach of saying, hey, listen, you don't know the place that I'm from as well as you think you do. I'd rather you tell me about the place that you're from and let me tell you about the place that I'm from. And so, that was the perspective that we took, and I think we nailed it. But, I think it's one of those things where, the people that got offended sort of should have been offended, to be honest with you, And so, that's the way it is. The truth is a painful thing for people that don't want to hear it,
That's very well put, Adam. Extremely well put. Well, let's get back to tonight's show. And tell everybody, what would you have to say to encourage people to come out and enjoy the show, and what can they expect?
I think if you enjoy what I do as far as Adam Hood's music, if you enjoy what Jason does as far as his music, I think, and you just like country music, I think you should come see it, because, you kind of get in the best of both worlds. And, and the cool thing is, between the two of us, in my shows, the things that I'm missing in my live shows, Jason brings to the table, and vice versa. There are things that, Jason would have liked to have seen in his shows that I'm able to participate in. And, it's a really good time. It's laid back. I couldn't be playing with a better group of musicians. I wouldn't miss it, to be honest with you. If you enjoy music in its traditional forms, then come see us. You'll be glad you did.
Adam, we are looking so forward to it. Anybody that's tuned in late during the interview here, visiting with Adam Hood, who's going to be joining Jason Eady on stage. Midnight Rodeo tonight. Southern Brothers from Another Mother tour continues, and we are so glad to have you guys here in town at Midnight Rodeo this evening. So be careful on the road. We're looking forward to it, and I will see you tonight.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it. We'll see you.